and how they work today. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I know for myself personally, and you're going to hear a little bit more about me here in a minute, I've always been focused on staying younger, healthy, however I can look and feel like I did in my 20s. Anybody interested in that?
Oh, yes.
Yes? Anybody forgot what that feels like?
Yes.
Few of you? You're going to with LifeWay. So welcome. We all want to look and feel great. And sometimes people tell me, I don't care what I look like. It doesn't matter anymore. But I care how I feel. Right? I want to get out of bed, I want to have energy, and I want to do the things that I want to do to enjoy my life. So what if you could actually have a say in that aging process? What if you could actually look and feel younger? Would you guys be okay with that? Yes. Would you be on board? Yes. Would you scream from the rooftops, oh my gosh, I found something that's making me feel amazing. I'm in my 20s again. Well, what if you could be in your 30s? Anybody in here in their 30s? At heart? A few of you? All right, so I'm going to give you some scenarios of some people. All right, we have Allie. She's healthy, she loves to travel, she loves to work out, but she can't party all night anymore. Was that any of you last night? I mean, we shut her down around 9. Allie, she really wants to stay young, but she has a lot of pressure at work. She's starting to feel it. She's getting anxiety. Do you know someone in the room that has anxiety, that deals with the struggles and pressures of day-to-day life? I think we all do. Here's me, in my 40s. Barely. How many of you are going to be going on the Greek Isles cruise later this year for the 20-year anniversary? Okay, let's try that again. How many of you will be on that Greek Isles cruise later this year for the 20-year anniversary? I'll be celebrating my 50th birthday then. So you guys are going to join me in that celebration, right?
Yes.
Like I said, for me, it's always been about how can I take care of myself, look and feel my best. I haven't had any health issues or conditions. I'm so grateful and happy to say that. And very blessed on the journey that I've been on. So for me, it's always been about prevention. Is anyone interested in prevention? Mm-hmm. Preventing the top 5 killers: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia. I want to prevent those things. So I've always been looking for tools. I call them my tools in my toolbox. Does anyone else have a toolbox?
Mm-hmm.
Full of things, tinctures, potions, lotions, pills, all the above. Me too, always. And when LifeWave came into my life almost 3 years ago, I wasn't looking for an opportunity. I'm always open and in alignment with what is being brought to me. I was looking for a product for my daughter. How many of you were in Milan last year? You got to hear a little bit more about that story. Maybe you've seen a YouTube video of mine where I shared the information about my daughter. And for me, the product X39 was a no-brainer when I found out about it. We had done a lot of stem cell therapies with Taylor. We had been out of the country many times. We had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hopes that something would help her from a brain injury that she had had when she was little. When this came into my life, I knew right away. There wasn't a question of let me read a patent or let me read a clinical study or is there any research or anything. I didn't even ask who invented it. It's this little round band-aid you put on the back of your neck and it does what? It activates your own stem cells, resetting 1/3 of your genes back to your young, youthful, healthy state. The whole family needs it. But of course I wanted it for her immediately. My first question was not about the studies and the research and the facts and the data. It was how much is it? How fast can I get it? Can I walk out the door right now with this in my hand to go home and put it on my child? How many of you have children in the room? You'll do anything for your kids, right? To help them? Of course you want it to be safe. You want it to be, you don't want to do anything harmful to your children. So the man that introduced this to me, he wasn't really using LifeWave as a business. He just had a product in his wellness center. So I want you to think about that. How many of you know of wellness centers are in the area, in your area? Well, this man was just offering it off the shelf. He told me his experience. I'm like, that's fantastic. How much is it? I just want it right now. Well, you know what happened the next day? The next day. When I talk about alignment, the next day, this woman right here, April Vaughn, and we've been friends for 20 years. We've known each other. She called me, Stacy, I have to talk to you. I found something that's going to help Taylor. I said, send me the link. I'll order it right now. I love her. I trust her. I know her. Did the person that invited you today, do you know them? Do you love them? Do you trust them? Some of you are shot going like this. You're like, yes, yes, yes. You're nodding your heads, and others are going, They drugged me here. They bribed me with a breakfast or a lunch or maybe a free patch. It's okay. You're going to thank them by the end of this. So when she said that to me, I immediately said yes. But she wanted to get on me. She wanted to talk about it. She wanted to explain it to me. I said, okay, that's fine. We can pop on the phone and chat. So she told me about her experience with her rheumatoid arthritis and what she'd been dealing with and how these patches helped her so quickly. I said, great, send me the link. I want it now. Guess what it was? The exact same thing I had bought the day before. And I went, whoa, okay, this is the divine. The earth just stopped on rotating, right, just stopped on its axis. The seas were parted and entered LifeWave. And she said, no, guess what? The inventor, David Schmidt, is coming to your city, 15 minutes from your house in 4 days. I'm like, what are the possibilities? What are you guys know synchronicities?
Yep.
Yes, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is huge. This is going to be huge. So I canceled all my plans for the weekend, girls' weekend, much like we're having right now. But I canceled all of them, and I went and I grabbed my girl, Laura Balzer, sitting up here in the front row. She had cured herself over, at that time, 3 years ago, from stage 3 breast cancer, using holistic IV vitamin therapy, nutrition, detoxification, high doses of all kinds of things like glutathione and carnosine, right? This was before LifeWave. And I grabbed her, I said, hey, let's go listen to this man speak. We had no idea what we were getting into. We were in a room much like this. There were 250 people. I was the youngest one in my 40s. They were mostly in their 60s, mostly 70s and 80s, some in their 90s. Remember that senior director,
Oh my gosh,
92 years old, right? And I'm like, whoa, they were running up and down the aisles. They were so excited to share their testimonials. Laura and I were crying through the whole thing. We had goosebumps listening to the testimonials from people. And we looked at each other and she's like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm telling the world. I'm telling the world. I've been promoting stem cell therapies for years. I'm the one that was the crazy woman that banked both of my kids' cord blood 22 years ago. Right? We still have my sons in a cryo facility in Ohio. So for me, that day, listening to David speak and listening to those people share their testimonials, I knew this was something that I could get behind. That I could tell everyone on the planet, everywhere I go, about this technology. How simple, easy, effective, affordable it really was. And so for my family, it made the biggest difference in anything we had done with our daughter in the 15 years prior. Anything. She was in a wheelchair. She required full care. She needed someone to bathe her, to change her, to feed her, to do everything every single day. And this technology not only provided the longevity and the prevention and all of that amazing stuff I was looking for, it helped my husband with all of his arthritis issues and from dirt bike racing. He broke every bone in his body except for his right leg. Before I met him, most all of them. He's gotten a little wiser as he's aged, kind of. He knows what he's doing today.
As he took off in that bike the other day.
As he took off on the bike when we were leaving on Thursday. Yeah. But for Taylor, it made a massive difference in her life. it helped improve her quality of life so much, which is why I'm here today, why I'm sharing with people all over the globe, because of what it did for her, what it did for our family, and what I've seen it do for hundreds and thousands of other people's families over the last 3 years. So, unfortunately, in our world here, we have a lot of people that are suffering, a lot of people that are not living their best quality of life. And that's kind of what happened to Carla. You know, grandma loves, being active, but started noticing weight gain, fatigue, aches and pains, looking and feeling older. That's not any of you in the room, is it? No one in here feels that. You're all feeling back in your, 20s, right? And then we have what our doctor says. We'll run some tests. We'll get you some prescription meds. Right, that's how I feel about that too. Bless you. And you walk out of the doctor's office. That was perfect timing. That's the divine, right? And we have Ben in his 60s. No one in here is in their 60s, are they? No. What? One man raises his hand. He's like, Right? So he's looking forward to retirement, but then all of a sudden, here comes the aches and pains, the low libido, not sleeping well, knee pain, all kinds of stuff going downhill. That was David a couple years ago. Not really. David was feeling amazing. But David was thinking, okay, I'm getting ready to turn 60 last year. Right? And he said, what can I do to increase my longevity in another way? And he invented our aromatherapy mist. Thank God he brought those to us, right? His own invention, but he wasn't going to share with the world. And he said, no, this is too good. So he's worried about those top 5 killers. He's worried about heart disease. He's worried about his knees, knee replacement, prescription meds. What are the alternatives? Well, somebody said, have you ever heard of LifeWave? Have you ever heard of stem cells? Have you ever seen this little patch? What do you know about stem cells? Like I said, for me, I knew a lot about stem cells because of what I had been through. But most people don't. We all came from stem cells. The egg and the sperm get together, they frolic, poof, you got a baby. You all were once that. You may not remember it, but you were. And you popped out, and then all of a sudden, you had some stem cells that stayed what we call pluripotent in your body. They stayed active to help repair and regenerate. Remember when you were a kid, you had boundless amounts of energy? You went nonstop? You could fall over in a crowded room just like this and sleep on the floor and never miss a beat. You guys have all seen that, right, with kids? Fall down, break a bone, get up, take off running. That was my son when he was dirt bike racing. When he was little, he'd break his wrist and, I'm getting on, no big deal. Fall out of a tree, no problem. Well, as we age, stem cells decline. I don't know if you knew this or not, but by the time you're 30s, only half are active. Half. The rest of them are tired. You know 30s is middle age? They're wore out. They're dormant, which means they're done. They're like, we have done everything we could for you for 30 years. See if you can live off the rest of them. Well, by the time we're in our 60s, we have less than 10%. 90%. 90% of your stem cells are done. They're exhausted. So for those of you that are in your 60s and you feel like you're exhausted, well, that's a pretty big contributing factor to that. Right? Ooh, no, we don't want that. Well, you can do injections. Like I said, I've done that with my daughter. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in stem cell injections in and out of the country. We did hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. How many of you guys have ever done that? Know what I'm talking about? 62 hours in a tank over the course of 4 months. Hour a day, every day. Woo! No guarantees. Super invasive. Lots of expense, right? Well, what if there's an alternative? For those of you that are guests in the room, would you be interested?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you're a guest in the room, would you be interested in something to help you regain your youth?
Oh, yes.
That looks like that little round Band-Aid that you can see on people's bodies, on their necks, on their faces. People ask me all the time, where do I put the patch? On the body. On the body. It does not work in the package. You take it out and actually put it on. Or stick it in your pocket. Either way. Well, Claudia talked a little bit about David Schmidt, so I'm not going to go into this. Our founder, our inventor, our CEO. David is a genius. I wish I got those brain cells. My mom and dad didn't have those kinds of sperm and egg floating around in their bodies. I got no invention genes at all. No brain cells. That man is a genius. When you listen to him talk, it's like this. What are those words? I need a recorder. He's just so smart. But yet, you know what I love about David, and I'm sure those of you that know him know this too? He is so humble. He talks about his patches like they're his children. I remember the first time I met him, not that first event, but actually at a leadership retreat a few months later in Orlando. And he said, someone asked, how do you keep your ego out of this? Because you know what the ego can do, right? And he said, the patches are my children. They're over here. They're my kids. And when someone says to me, oh, you saved my life, or oh, you improved my life, or you healed me, he says, no. No, my children are the ones that are responsible for that. Thank you for appreciating my children and what they did. That's how he feels about the patches. I thought, well, that's pretty impressive. Because sometimes you can get caught up in this. Look what I did, right? Look at me, look who I am. And that's not David. Even though he does hold 150 patents, which is pretty darn impressive, with all those clinical studies, over 80 clinical studies, he's figured out how to activate your own stem cells using your light. So I'm going to explain this to you so you can understand how simple this patch is. All of you that have a patch on, your genes are already being reset right now. A third of them. Back to their young, youthful, healthy state. Did you all feel that? Some of you did? Some of you felt it? Did anyone not feel anything when you put that patch on this morning? Okay, good. A couple of you didn't feel anything. I know I patched Sophie a minute ago and I was like, did you see beams of light radiating from your chest when it happened? Did any of that go on fireworks? So when you put this patch on, you put it on in the morning when you get up. You guys brushed your teeth this morning?
Yep.
Please tell me you did. We're all really close in here. Your hope. Coffee doesn't cover it. Okay? You can have all the coffee you want. You still need to brush your teeth. So we brush our good oral hygiene is very important for longevity. So we brush our teeth in the morning. We have our patches sitting right there while we're brushing our teeth. We put our patch on. Immediately, the process starts with your genes, a third of them, being reset to their young, youthful, healthy state. You don't feel it and you don't see it, but how does that happen? Those genes then in turn, one of them is responsible for activating your stem cells. But you didn't feel it, but it does happen. We know that from clinical studies, right? And that's what our patent says. The patent says activates and elevates. We see that in our patent. So when you put it on, your body's light or heat, I want you to put your hand on your chest or somewhere on your body where you can feel your skin. You're about 98.6 degrees, correct? That is heat. The person next to you may be like, woo, they are hot. Or they may be like, ooh, let me scooch up next to you, I'm cold and I want you to heat me up. That body heat is what our patch works with. So when we put that on, our heat or light that we emit hits the patch immediately and reflects back a very specific wavelength of light. Now that's patented. So you're not going to know. So you don't ask me what wavelength of light. That's why our technology is the only thing like this on the planet, right? It's proprietary. So when you put that patch on, it elevates a very specific peptide with that wavelength of light. How many of you know what a peptide is? Do you have yet? Okay. Peptides are chains of proteins. Amino acids. You guys heard of those? Building blocks of your body. So David figured out which wavelength of light over 10 years in the lab, But he figured out which wavelength of light elevates a peptide called GHK-Cu copper peptide. We don't have much time to get into this, but copper peptide is the fountain of youth. Dr. Lauren Bacart discovered it over 50 years ago, and it's all the rage nowadays because of what it does for reverse aging, for your cardiovascular system, for your neurological system. You guys have those, right?
Yeah.
Hearts and brains? We got hearts and brains? All right. You hope they're in coherence, right? Heart-brain coherence. Where are my people in the room that are into that? Yeah? Exactly. It's super important for life. Keeping that heart and brain in balance is very important. We see huge benefits of GHK with muscles, with recovery, with pain, reducing pain. How many of you in the room are in pain right now? A few of you? Okay. So being able to elevate GHK does a lot, but it activates your stem cells. That is why we're here. Because to have something that activates your own stem cells in a non-invasive way, that's literally the price of a cup of coffee, that is revolutionary. And you can see here from these before and after pictures, age reversal, which is amazing, right? Our fountain of youth. But you can see wound healing. Look at that man that fell from the roof. Wow. Huge changes. Huge. 3 weeks. Like you would not expect to get up and get moving any shy of 6 weeks from that. We've all seen the little boy that had his finger chopped off. Dr. Harmon, I interviewed him last weekend. Dr. John Harmon has written the book, How to Reverse Aging with GHK, most recently here last year. Some of you may have seen it, but he shared this picture and he said, I've helped 2 other kids save their fingers because of this picture, because of what happened. 2 other little kids caught their fingers in the door and they were able to save their fingers. That's impressive. What does that? Can you imagine what it does if it can save your finger? What's really happening on the inside that you may not feel? Look at this lady that's been through radiation treatment. We all know people that are going through treatments right now. And literally, in the matter of 3 weeks, look what happened to her from using the X39. Right? Wow. That's a big difference. 3 weeks. I mentioned our neurological system, our brain. We have all kinds of clinical studies, but I really like the one about the brain because we all have one. We hope it's functioning correctly. And we want to keep it in its tip-top shape. How many of you know people that are dealing with cognitive decline? Or maybe some memory issues, maybe some concentration or focus issues? What about, I'm waiting for you, yeah. What about, right, the people that can't get their thoughts together? They can't finish a sentence. They're forgetful. There's no focus. They have brain fog. It's none of us in here, I'm sure. None of us, because we're all patching, or we're patched up today, right? And we're going to keep patching. But we see huge changes in the brain when we elevate GHK. Even as early as 6 weeks. If you have someone that's dealing with cognitive decline or some other serious neurological issue, and we know that GHK crosses the blood-brain barrier, those are some serious benefits, right? So, of course, we are all focused on better sleep, more energy, more activity in our life. I don't know if I'm ever going to climb a mountain, I'll be honest with you.
I agree.
It's not on my list of things to do in my lifetime. A bucket list is to climb the mountain. George and I are like, nah. I'll be sitting at the bottom waiting for you with a bottle of wine.
Come on my boat.
I'll come on your boat. We'll have a bottle of wine. That sounds fantastic. I don't know. But for this lady, she wasn't able to do that in 4 years because of her knee issue. Yeah. We obviously talked about this. I loved your slide, Claudia. I want the names of all of these people. We know some of them, but we don't know all of them. So we know that athletes are using the patches, but really what's most important is that you're using the patches. That you're using them for your life, for your future, for your vitality, and for the people that you care about and that you love. We all want more energy. We all want faster wound healing. We all want to look and feel younger. And X39 is the way to do it. If anything were possible, anything were possible, what would you choose to experience differently? That's the big question. What would you choose? If the sky is the limit, if your earth is stopping on its axis today, if the sea is parted for you today, like it was for me almost 3 years ago, what would you choose? Would you choose this technology? Would you choose something as simple as a little round Band-Aid that you put on in the morning and you took off 12 hours later and you just did it every day until you cross all the things off your list that are decreasing your quality of life? People ask me all the time, how long do you patch? I just say, stop patching when you want to start aging again. Whenever you want to start aging, start patching, because we can see in our studies not only improvements in functionality and organ function, in system function, at the cellular function, we can see age reversal. We can see reversal in the functionality of these organs and cells and tissues. That's a pretty bold claim. How many of you have a heart? I say these things to make sure you're listening. You understand that, right? I was a school teacher 30 years ago, so. We have a study that shows every 6 weeks using the X39, your cardiovascular system is functioning 8 weeks younger. So you do the math on that. Every 6 weeks, my vascular system gets 8 weeks younger. What kind of repair could take place in that time? What if you patched for 12 weeks, or 24 weeks, or 24 months? Years of improvement could take place. So we have other options here, as Claudia was mentioning earlier, with our customer program and our brand partner program. I hope you'll join us as a brand partner. I honestly hope you'll pick one of these packs, and I hope that you'll decide you want to do like I did and tell the planet. Patch the planet. Tell the world. Some will say yes, they want this, and some will say no. They just don't know what you have your hands on right now or what's being presented to them, and maybe they will down the road. And maybe they won't. Did you guys know my mom still does not patch? What? What is wrong with her? Bless her soul. That's what I say, just bless her soul. I don't know. It's not her thing. Okay, fine. Don't patch. Am I crying? Am I at home crying right now? Waiting for her to patch before I tell other people? No. There's a whole planet full of people out there. So if you decide you want to join us with LifeWave, these are our different brand partner packs. And I love that they're customizable. You can put X39 in all, you can put only X39 in every single pack if you want. I chose to mix and match different patches for my family, different things that I knew would benefit myself, my daughter, my son, my husband with all his pain issues. So you can mix and match in these packs. And they give you the ability to share with other people, to make a difference not only in your life, but in other people's lives. So you're going to get back with the person that invited you. They're going to help ask or answer the questions you have to ask, right? And of course, we'll all be here, so if you have questions at break, I'm happy to answer any questions you have too. So commit yourself to at least 90 days. I really like to say 1 month for every decade you are old. That's your starting point. 1 month for every decade you are old. Get all of your stem cells woke up and active. Get them all reset, young and youthful and healthy again. Enjoy this new vitality and quality, and invite your friends to do the same. Thank you.